Hey, enough of that. Unofficially, Brentocast episode 12. I say unofficially because I did cut a Brentocast-11 last Monday, but I never released it. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll release that when this becomes the ultimate Brentocast-12. I did promise a live podcast from on location at North Myrtle Beach. Today is September the 4th, I believe. It's the wee morning hours. And I'm sitting out on the balcony of the 10th floor of Tower 1 at the North Shore area of North Myrtle Beach, 75th Avenue, I believe. Watching the waves crash in onto the shore. It's currently high tide. I apologize if the quality of this recording is not fantastic. I did want to get some background sound effects, though, so hopefully you're getting that waves coming in as well. I did not have time to purchase the earbuds and the dongle. Typically, I don't like earbuds anyway, but I will do that for future remote casts just to have a little bit more clarity and a little less background noise that's not maybe as charming as ocean waves. We got here 3 days ago. I guess technically today would be our fourth day. We've had a heck of a time, and it's been interesting being here and being away from my main desk. I did bring the laptop, but haven't been on it very much. But what little bit that I have been online, I have noticed that a paradigm shift has happened in the world of art, and that is AI bot rendering of images based on textual input. You can create what looks to be a masterwork in just about any style in just a few moments of typing the proper prompts into a chat and a Discord bot window, and it will absolutely send you an amazing piece of art. Might not be exactly what you wanted, but with a little tweaking and a few changes to your text, you can get something pretty close. And I've already seen the tendency of artists to post that on their Facebook page or their Instagram as original work. That's going to be problematic because I think the cat's out of the bag now, whereas maybe last week it wasn't. And, you know, when I see that, I go, oh, yeah, great AI piece there. What was your prompts? You know, to just sort of let people know you're in on. But so folks aren't going to be that nice. It's going to be a little nasty here at first till all this gets worked out. But there are about 4 bots out there now making art that's just blowing away what the average render artist like myself could do. Less specific, of course, but way more diverse. So it's going to be interesting to see how this changes the world of DAZ 3D and hobbyist rendering using a variety of apps from consumer to prosumer level. It's going to be very, very different. So just to recap, Nancy and I decided to head down here for our celebration of her 53rd birthday. And we brought our little angel, Delilah, baby Delilah, a.k.a. Wildcard, our 3-year and 1-month-old granddaughter, and she loves the beach. What can I tell you? We've taken her to a variety of places. We went to a really cool mini golf the other night where you ride a little train up to the top of this ancient volcano kind of a situation and play down through this town. And it has like little streams and lots of running water and waterfalls and things of that nature. And haven't played mini golf with her but one other occasion, and had forgotten the fact that you don't need to give her a club. You just need to let her run around. And for Nancy, it was a big Instagram opportunity. I'm going to take a sip of drink here. Give me one moment. I think I might have mentioned that it's like I started this like at 5 in the morning. This is my second recording. I discovered that if you don't log in, it doesn't associate the recording with your podcast. So that's on me, folks. Basically, all I did was just recap what we'd done. Nancy's went to a few spas. I had a big massage. She had a big massage. She had some eyelashes and some nails done, and all that. So this is from her perspective, I think she's wanting to see that she's still beautiful at 53. And, of course, I'm happy to be her main cheerleader and photographer. And I love her very much. And I'm happy that she's happy and having a good time. And although I will say it's not stress-free for two 53-year-old, well, I'm 52, I'll be 53 soon, but two people in their early 50s to be managing a granddaughter at by themselves for 5 days. It's a little bit, well, of course, I do it on a weekly, but then, of course, she gets to go home some of those nights, and this time it's just a little bit different. But for the most part, she really is tired by the end of the day, and she just goes to bed. Although last night got a little wild. We had to definitely put the little spanking on her, which I don't like to do, but it has to be done. And it seems like I'm the guy that has to do it, so that's the way it is. But, it's never much, just ornamental, and she'll cry a little bit, and her cries are so funny because she doesn't actually shed tears. She just goes, ooh. It's like the most fake cry you ever want to hear in your life. I did note earlier that it seemed to limit me to 15 minutes for this podcast. So if there's an abrupt cutoff, that's what it's all about. Obviously, when I do these normally, I'm not using the on the phone app, so I have a little bit more flexibility with the length. It's kind of funny. You can set up your music on here, though, so I could basically do essentially the same thing with the intro music and all that. Maybe I'll do that later. And maybe I'll do these. I looked at getting perhaps a nice USB microphone so I could sort of skip the part where I have to take the card out of my Zoom recorder and, pull it into the computer and all that. And I want to be able to do these every week. I don't know that I'll be able to sustain the video portion of it every week because lots of times I'm actually just talking about what's already on my website in a 1 to 3 part video. Like, for example, this entire trip, every day I make a video, showing what we're doing with Delilah, and I post that up, and I'll put Monday's date, but I'll put parts 1, part 2, or day 1, day 2, day 3, etc., so on and so forth. And it seems a bit redundant for me to video myself taking these, although I have been doing that just as extras, I guess, because sometimes if I'm talking about a movie or what have you, or a video game or whatever, I'll cut something in. But I think that's probably not going to be the norm. I'll be doing these direct just to save time. And, this is all just cataloging, my life, but more importantly, Delilah's life, her early life, so she can look back and she wants to hear me talk about what we did and my thoughts about her progression or whatever. That's something she'll be able to do, hopefully. We'll see. But it's also cathartic for me to talk about, I'm going to quit having this conversation with myself. I always do this. Why are you going to the trouble of doing this? Do you think people are that interested in what you think and what you have to say? And the answer to that, of course, is no. It's something that's fun for me to do, to sort of assemble my thoughts. And, as an artist, you get caught up in projects that sometimes take you away from this kind of thing, self-reflection. And like, for example, right now, working on losing weight, working on being active, getting back to the gym, also taking a class, the ACE personal trainer prep class, 2 nights a week. Going back to school is not easy for somebody with my schedule, let alone somebody with a brain that's 52 years old. So, it's been interesting. And actually, I plan to carry on with the school stuff. I want to take Spanish next year for sure. There's 2 modules of that next year I'd like to get into starting in January. But I digress. This class is a little bit more doable because they offer it at the YMCA, which is about 7 or 8 minutes closer and a lot more accessible than going out to the community college. It's outside of town. So there's that. And then there's the fact that the first month, it's about a 3-month course. The first month is pretty much the Wednesday nights are all online, which means we can do them anytime. That said, we're in there. We happen to be in there with one of our customers at the store, but also a friend, Danny Dennis. And I think he went back to school at some point and got his master's degree. And he was talking, to the teacher the other day. He's like, I've already done that, having the right papers and stuff. He's like, I'm just here for the information to go take the test. And I couldn't be more in agreement with what he said. I'm like, hey, and plus the teacher's really nice. She hasn't done any of the, lots of times you'll run into these teachers or AKA professors, whatever. Then they want to make you jump through hoops. And I'm like, I'm not here to jump through hoops. I paid for this class basically just to get what I couldn't get from the book. And the book was $150. It's a nice book. But, obviously things like CPR and stuff like that. And basically so far, everything that we've covered, I already knew, except for all the stuff you're not supposed to do as a trainer. Every trainer I've had, with the exception of one who used to ironically teach this course, I now realize was technically doing things that are outside of the purview of a personal trainer, like suggesting your diet. are giving you a diet. Most of the trainers I've worked with have given me a diet, and it's not really what they're supposed to do. They want you to see a dietitian, spend that money. They want you to see a doctor. They want you to see a therapist. They want you to see the physical therapist, Oh, we're just not going to do any of that. We're just going to give you some general guidelines to being more healthy. And that, in a nutshell, is what the training has been thus far. I've only been to 2 classes, but I have taken 3 quizzes online, so boring, I know. But just to say that I am busy would be an understatement. So these just help me kind of focus up, and I'm happy to be down here taking this time to reset a little bit. But, I know Tuesday's coming. It's going to be just as wild as ever, and I'll be back to having to get that work in. Also, I got the video recording project got accomplished as far as the brothers and the one brother's daughter coming in and doing some music, and we got that recorded. It was neat meeting all of them after, working with them online a little bit. I'm looking forward to Harrison and I just ripping through that project and having a great time doing it. I think that Harrison and I have 1 or 2 Sundays together to work on recording projects, and then we resume our live performance rehearsals. I don't want to jinx this, but I think we got a new drummer. I believe his name is Jim. He's a military man, so he's off with the National Guard annual training until 2 weeks from now, and then I think we'll actually start rehearsing. So you'll be hearing more about him very soon. Seems to be a really great guy. Looking forward to working with him. And I'll be switching to bass, and I think we'll be doing the three-piece thing again, only with me on bass. So that'll definitely change up the songs that we choose. And as always, Harrison and I will carry on as a 2-man acoustic, and maybe even bring Jim into that. We'll have to see. The waves crashing in. I can see the faintest sketch of light coming up in the sky, but it is extremely faint. I can barely see clouds behind, with the sun coming up behind them. It's only 5:56. I figure we probably have another 20 minutes before I can really see the light, but I think I'm going to spend it out here. Just have a little bit of sanity break from the baby and Nancy, and then I'll pop back in there and maybe take another hour and a half nap. Who knows? Haven't got my shower yet because I'm not sure how this is going to go. But I think today we'll probably be hitting another mini golf, maybe going out to the National Park and walking on the pier out there. There's a lot of pigeons out there typically, so Delilah loves that. But we'll just be looking to have fun here on our last day at North Myrtle for perhaps another 2 months. Sometimes we come back for my birthday, which is November the 5th, or we discuss maybe coming around Christmas time. We have seen The Pirate's Voyage. If you haven't seen that show and you come to Myrtle Beach, you're doing yourself a disservice. We've seen that once, but we're interested in going back to that during the Christmas season. So we may be doing that over near Christmas. I don't know. I know that I want to spend Christmas this year with Delilah at Baden Inn because they decorate that up so big, and we want to have that one quintessential Christmas where we really have her dolled up. And a lot of it's about getting the media, getting the memories captured. And that's what this whole thing's about with Delilah. When I was a kid, I had my Aunt Clara, bless her heart, saved maybe 15 pictures of me as a little baby, and my kids had my mom and dad had sort of the same pictures in a those old photo books. But unfortunately, when I started after Dad passed away, I started taking some of those out and scanning them, and I found it lots of times the acetate on those old books would mess up the images. So I got some of those from my Aunt Clara, bless her heart, and was able to save some of those, but it's just the fewest, and I have memories attached to each of those photos, but man, I would have loved to have had a lot more than that. And Delilah literally will be maybe not the first human, but the first generation of humans to have her entire life cataloged with photos and videos that remain out there on the clouds. So when Nancy and I are gone, she's not going to have to wonder what her life with Papa and Grandma was like, because she's going to have this photo record. And that's exciting to me. It's something I would have loved to have had. Being an adopted kid, being extremely close to my adoptive parents who treated me so good. So good. I mean, I'm going to get emotional if I talk about that. And then meeting my biological family and seeing how so many of those kids, the half-siblings, didn't have it so good as I did. How ironic is that, right? Because every adopted kid thinks about, finding their original parents that are rich and glamorous and beautiful. And, I mean, it was just, the experience was just like if you took that dream and flipped it on its ear and, ran it back 180. I was the only one of those kids that got the amazing childhood. How crazy is that? God knows what he's doing, so I don't question it. And I try to be ever thankful for the upbringing that I got. Gosh, I'm getting mushy here, man. I'll tell you what, God is good. He's blessed me much more than I deserve. And I think if a person keeps that in mind, no matter where you are in the world and in your life, it's all relative, right? I mean, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So you have to keep this in your heart and be thankful for every breath and every day and every minute and every hour, That said, I'm going to let you guys get on with your day. Thanks for listening. I'll be back maybe with another one of these from the beach. We'll see how tough this is to publish. And you're going to get in here and mess with some more AI art. I have a feeling I'm going to be spending more time on my phone sending little render jobs to Midjourney on Discord. By the way, if you're interested in checking this stuff out, go to midjourney.com. Give it a read. You might want to subscribe. I know I did, and it's completely addictive. I've been generating these art pictures. I've literally done, maybe since I started this 4 or 5 days ago, I've literally done like 400 or 500 images. It's insane, man. It is insane. You guys aren't going to believe it. Get into it if you're an artist. If you like the gratification of creating a new picture for your blog or whatever you want to write about, man, and you talk about concept art. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. We'll see if I can use it as concept art. I saw where one guy online on YouTube had made a complete comic with it, which has some challenges because each rendition is different. But he made a complete comic with it, and he did it all on his iPad, and he actually got it published. And he's done that a couple times, so it looked amazing what he did. It was a more abstract story, which allowed him to not have the exact same images or exact same design every time. But man, super impressive, and all only possible because of the advent of AI bot rendering. Check it out, guys. Going to get back to the lab and get that first VHS graveyard proper out to you, and looking forward to doing that. Man, it's just a great time to be alive. God bless. Thanks for listening.